Hi everyone, I'm True Soul, and welcome to another Marvel Legends collection update video. So yeah guys, as most of you may know, I have decided to start primarily focusing on my Star Wars Black Series collection, but that doesn't mean that I'm going to completely forget about Marvel Legends. And as you can see, I have quite a few Marvel Legends action figures for us to talk about today. I have the new reworked Marvel Legends Scarlet Spider from the Retro line. I have the Marvel Legends Red Widow, which I believe is a member of the Winter Guard or something. What does it say on the back of the... Yep, it's right, Winter Guard. I also have the X-Men 97 Cyclops, and I have the new Tombstone that they made. So this is a very interesting lineup here, guys. And I'm gonna go ahead and start off with Red Widow for today. So let's go ahead and open her up and see what she's all about. And here she is, ladies and gentlemen, the Red Widow out of the packaging. I really do dig the red and black color scheme. Kind of reminds me of like Deadpool, which I figured I might as well go ahead and say I did specifically get this Red Widow to make a custom, which from what I just said, you could probably guess what that custom is, but enough rambling about that. Don't really know a whole lot about the character, but when I saw that they were making this action figure of her, I knew I had to get it for the custom that I wanted to get. Now right off the bat, I'm gonna go ahead and say that this big plastic cloak piece is one solid plastic piece, and as such it does hinder articulation. Doesn't really hinder one of her arms, since she's kind of can move that around freely. Well, not completely, because she can't move it outwards, and there's not a whole lot of flexibility in this cape. You can move it up, but it'll just go right back into place. So that is a little annoying. So I don't know how many cool poses you can get her in, but she does have the new double jointed arms, which I'm probably shouldn't even call them new at this point, because moving forward all the female action figures are going to have them. But overall, a pretty cool looking figure. Trying to find some other points of articulation here. Has some articulation up in the upper torso, as well as a swivel in the upper thigh, double jointed legs. Of course, got ankle pivot, got some wrist hinge in there, and it looks like there's like some straps on her legs and around her lower torso. The one up here seems like a separate piece, so I might end up cutting that off. The ones down here look... Oh, never mind. You can also take those off if you so desire. Boop. But like I said, since this is primarily for a custom, not too worried about that, because this whole cape piece can come off, so I'm going to be taking that off. Now let's go ahead and talk about her accessories. Now she only comes with a couple of them. Comes with some extra hands. She comes with one extra punch hand and a kind of extended hand, and she also comes with this staff, which looks kind of cool. I'm gonna go ahead and put that in her hands just to see how it looks. And there we go, the Red Widow. I also like how on the camera you can't really see her eyes. It's like super dark. Makes her look a little more mysterious. But overall, pretty cool, decent figure. And I'm pretty sure this is going to work out pretty well for the custom that I have in mind. So let's go ahead and move on to the next action figure. I'm going to go ahead and open up this X-Men 97 Cyclops. I primarily wanted to get him because of the special optic blast effect that he has, and I also wanted to compare him to my X-Men Animated Series VHS Cyclops and see if there's any improvements of any kind. So let's go ahead and open him up. And here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Cyclops from X-Men 97 out of the packaging. Now, of course, they did try to make him look more like how Cyclops looks in that show. I did watch the show and I did enjoy it. I know a lot of people said that they liked the art style more than the original one. I don't know if I'm just blinded by nostalgia, but I do kind of prefer the older one. And here is my VHS Cyclops. One thing I noticed about these two off the back, the original Cyclops looks just the way in the face, he just looks older than this one, which I found funny because the events of 97 are supposed to happen after the events of the original animated show. But I think that's again kind of because of the art style. I'm not noticing a whole lot of differences with the actual body. It looks more or less the same. There's some slight what looks like some deco that they did a little differently. You can see some extra lines on the X over here on the chest area. And of course the 97 one doesn't have the kind of animated shading that the VHS Cyclops has. I mean, they both are pretty decent looking figures. And like I said, I did like the X-Men 97 show. One thing I will say though, the way the animation looked kind of reminded me of shows kind of like, I don't know if anyone's watched like Archer or whatever, which I haven't, and I don't really care for how that animation looks. I don't really care for like how the characters move and whatnot. And I think that's the problem that I have with the show. But overall, I did enjoy the show. But enough about the show. We're not here to talk about the show. We're here to talk about the action figures, man. So let's go ahead and move on to accessories, since articulation, if you have this Cyclops more or less the same body, the only thing that's really different is the head, from what I can see, because this Cyclops also has the thigh straps are actually connected to the leg, unlike older versions where it would move around and look kind of weird. But let's go ahead and move on to the accessories. Oh, Cyclops! Now Cyclops comes with the standard hands, comes with his punching hands as well as a hand for when he's activating his optic blast. But he also comes with an extra head that kind of looks like he's kind of angry. And as you can tell, there is looks like a big gap in the eyes. And you're probably wondering, why did they put that big gap in the eyes? That's dumb. Well, it's not dumb, because you're supposed to put this giant optic blast effect in there. And I'm going to see if I can do that right now without it looking weird, because I want to make sure I do it right. Oh wow, look at that. Let's go ahead and put this on Cyclops and see how it looks. So yeah guys, I was messing around with the Cyclops and I noticed that this lower leg joint at the bottom here does not want to bend like at all. So I'm gonna try to see if I can heat it up a little bit with a dryer and see if I can get it to bend, and I'll be right back. And here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Cyclops with his blaster effect. It actually looks really good. I also like the fact that it's very light so it doesn't weigh down the figure. But if I'm being honest guys, we do have a slight problem, and I'm gonna try to explain it to the best of my ability. So I was messing around with this Cyclops' legs and I noticed that this leg over here, the top joint in the double jointed leg is working perfectly fine. But unlike this leg over here, which as you can see has both joints working properly, the bottom joint on the other leg, it will not bend no matter what I do. I heated it up. It literally heated up the entire area. I can move all this around, but I cannot get this joint to bend. And upon looking at it even closer, I actually think that there's not even a joint in there. Like, you can see the scope where the joint's obviously supposed to be, but it's not bending. This part right here, no matter what I do, I cannot get it to bend up to save my life. And I literally think it's because I don't know if something went wrong when they were printing the pieces or what, but this joint is literally like it's like welded shut. I'm gonna keep trying to work with it to see if I can maybe get it to do what it's supposed to. But if I can't, this is probably one of the most disappointing moments in my Marvel Legends collecting career, because, you know, action figures are gonna have defects, especially when you're making like a whole bunch of them, mass production and whatever. But this is actually the first time I had a defect to this degree, to where I couldn't move the figure the way it was intended to be moved. So I am a little bummed out about that. Comment down below, guys, if you guys have recently had any action figures that had like kind of a major joint defect of some kind. I'm actually really interested, but this does kind of complicate things, because I was kind of planning on using this new Cyclops for my stop motions, but looks like I'm gonna have to rely on the good old reliable Cyclops. And since I primarily just wanted this Cyclops for the blaster thing, I can probably get rid of this body and just use the good old reliable Cyclops body that has joints that do work. So I did keep messing around with it, guys, and I was able to finally get this joint to work the way it was supposed to. I was a little worried there for a second. However, this leg appears to be just more wobblier, this foot I mean, than the other foot on the other side. I'm not really sure what happened there. I'm trying to push it in as much as possible, but if it works well enough, then that means that I will be able to use this Cyclops for future stop motions and have my VHS Cyclops be a permanent display piece on my shelf. I think next I'm going to open up the Scarlet Spider, highly anticipated action figure. I've been waiting for them to re-release this guy for a while, because I knew that if they did re-release him, they would give him a couple of, you know, reworks, because they did make a Scarlet Spider, an original Scarlet Spider before, but I kind of want one with some slightly better joints, and I'm kind of seeing what looks to be like a torso piece and whatnot. But anyway, let's go ahead and open him up and see how he looks. And here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Scarlet Spider out of the packaging. I always did like this outfit for Spider-Man, just like the kind of like the blue hoodie looking part with the hood. I always thought was kind of cool. Would have been nice if they had gave us a head or something with he had the hood up, but that might have drove up to the price. So, oh, I also didn't really notice he had these little ankle pockets. I don't know why I never noticed that before. But right off the bat, there seems to be quite a lot of range in these leg pieces. There's a lot of gappage here. Like, you can actually pull that kind of outward, but you can also kind of push it back in there, and it doesn't look too bad. Range of motion on the head is good as always. Whoa, look at that, another gap. Ooh, I get they probably wanted a Spider-Man action figure to be agile and whatnot, but you know. Oh, I also noticed they have the toe joints. That's also going to be pretty cool. I don't think the Spider-Man that I currently have has toe joints, so it's nice to see that Scarlet Spider has these. It's going to help out with our articulation, like with poses and whatnot, quite a bit. I don't know if this is a whole new sculpt, like a whole new body for Scarlet Spider. I'm not the best at identifying when they reuse a body for a Marvel action figure. You can go to like Foosh and whatnot for stuff like that. They know most of that stuff. I'm gonna see if I can't get them to stand up. Oh, I almost did it. Oh! Nice, guys. That's kind of cool. I like it. Was really waiting for this action figure, the original Spider-Man clone, guys. Long before we had Miles Morales and Spider-Gwen and Silk and all those other people, that was Scarlet Spider. And he also comes with some accessories, which I feel like they nailed when it comes to a Spider character. He comes with 2 wall crawling hands, which I feel like every Spider character should come with. And he also comes with 2 web slinging hands, like I feel like every Spider character should come with. Sometimes they've been kind of dropping the ball with that with certain Spider-Man action figures, but this one actually comes with all the ones that you think should go with a Spider-Man action figure. I'm gonna go ahead and put a couple of these hands on them just to see how they look. And here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Scarlet Spider. Just overall great looking figure. I also like the fact that he has a ab crunch, which I believe they used a hinge for that one instead of a swivel. I don't really feel a swivel up in the torso, but I feel like this articulation is pretty good for the Scarlet Spider. Awesome. This one's probably going to take the cake, guys, but let's go ahead and look at the last figure that I have for today, and that is Tombstone. Now this Tombstone actually looks like he cleaned up real nice. Got the whole 3-piece suit and everything. I'm pretty sure this is not how he looked in like the old Spider-Man show, but this is kind of like just a retro kind of thing. I don't think it's exclusively like the show. Like it's also like comics and stuff like that. But we're gonna go ahead and open up this Tombstone and see how he looks. And here he is, ladies and gentlemen, Tombstone out of the packaging. Actually, a pretty big figure. He seems to sit a little higher than some of the other Marvel action figures that I have, which it makes sense. He does kind of tower over Spider-Man. Really like this 3-piece suit that they gave him. Real clean, slick looking suit. One thing I will say though about this action figure is I did notice that on the head, his head and his neck are 100% connected, which means you can take this entire piece off and see, and it's also the same on his alternate head too. Not really sure why they went that way, because I know on a lot of the newer Black Series figures they have the neck joint and the head joint completely separate, and they decided not to do that for this one. I don't know if it's because of how they have the 3-piece suit, and maybe it was just easier for them to do it this way, because I do know some people were complaining about that when they revealed him. I don't have too big of a deal with it. I just thought it was a little odd that they decided to do that. I'm sure they had their reasons, even though I don't know exactly what those reasons were. But overall, very nice looking figure. Pretty decent arm articulation. Doesn't appear to have any articulation in the upper torso, although I am feeling a little something right here, but I'm not sure if that's the lower torso or not. Seems to just have a hinge up in here. Double jointed arms, of course, along with the wrist hinge right there. Pretty decent articulation. Can't do a complete split, but has a hinge in the or swivel. I keep getting my hinges and swivels mixed up. Double jointed legs. Boop. And of course, that good old ankle pivot. Now his accessories aren't all that much to look at. He does come with a extra head. A slightly more aggressive looking head. And he comes with 2 hands for punching. But he also comes with a crowbar, which I feel like could have been a little bigger for him, but hey. Let's go ahead and put it in his hand, see how it looks. And there's the crowbar. Yeah, as you can see, the crowbar looks awfully small compared to how big he actually is. I feel like they should have gave him a slightly bigger crowbar. But I mean, overall, kind of cool looking figure. I could actually see some people making some interesting customs, like with the suit, since you could pop the whole neck and whatnot out. I wonder if there's any Black Series figures, any of your Black Series heads that have like a neck and head joint that could fit in here. That'd be very interesting to see. Well, guys, that's gonna do it for my Marvel Legends collection update. I gotta say, after reviewing all of these figures, definitely think my favorite one is the Scarlet Spider. It is the most anticipated one. Just really like the overall look. I like the improvements to the joints. And yeah, guys, comment down below if you have any of these 4 figures and which one do you like the best. And also be sure to follow me on my socials, as you'll stay updated whenever I plan to upload a video, as well as see exclusive photos like of these guys here that you will not see in my videos. Alright guys, until then, be sure to like, subscribe, and go to my channel to check out other videos. Catch you later.